bienvenidos a otro episodio más, La Bola, Esta, en tu cancha. Mi nombre es Velez y hoy tenemos un invitado especial, una persona que tiene experiencia, 17 años de experiencia como árbitro profesional en la liga NBA, con 933 partidos participados, ¿verdad? En la liga de NBA, participó en la final 2002, Lakers versus los Nets. También tiene experiencia en la liga baloncesto supernacional. Actualmente es coach también aquí en Puerto Rico, en Isabela. Con nosotros hoy, Ted Bernhardt. Welcome to the podcast, Ted. How you doing? You muted, Ted. Try to unmute the... There you go. Much better.
All right, doing fine. Thank you.
So Ted, let's get straight to it. You're from Indiana, a basketball state. People that love sports in Indiana knows that is a basketball town, basketball state. That if you're not playing basketball or not coaching, not playing, you're not doing nothing. So how was that experience growing up in Indiana?
You know, I grew up in Lafayette, Indiana, Edwin, and it's 30 miles from the birthplace of 5-on-5 basketball. And the first high school championship is right there in Indiana. The movie Hoosiers is a true story. And so when you grow up in Indiana, basketball is king, definitely. And like I say, every grandmother on a corner thinks she's Bobby Knight.
It's funny you say that, Bobby Knight. I believe that when you was growing up, you want to become a basketball player, right? Because when you play basketball, everybody wants to make it to the NBA. As a basketball player, you want to play college ball with Bobby Knight. Did you play basketball when you was growing up?
Well, you know, I was vertically challenged, as they say in Billy Crystal's movie. You know, I have a height problem. Well, we had a 7-foot, 6'11", 6'9", 6'5", and 6'2". That was my starting five high school. So, yeah, I was a great bench warmer up until the time I quit playing. I started refereeing in college, you know, to make spending money. So it just worked out very, very well.
Speak about that. How was that process? Like, okay, I'm not going to make it pro as a basketball player and then start refereeing. How was that process and journey until you make it to the NBA?
You know, I got started in college, and I didn't really know the NBA was a full-time job. So it was just a hobby for me. At the point where I realized I could do this as a job, you know, I started training hard, and I was 25 years of age when they picked me up and put me in the minor leagues, and then I was 29 when I was hired. So, you know, I started refereeing when I was 18, and, you know, refereeing is similar to playing. That's why I try to get people that, like yourself, that's a good student of the game, or people involved in refereeing, because coaching is 24. You're thinking about it all the time. But as a referee, you know, you try to get better. You go out and you work every possession. You hustle. You try to anticipate. But when the game's over, the game's over. And so it's a different mindset. It's almost that of being a player still.
It's interesting that you began refereeing at 18. You thought it was not a job. You thought it was a hobby. And then 11 years later, you're in the NBA. You're a mix of the 90s era that we're talking about Michael Jordan. We're talking about Kobe Bryant. Talking about the Detroit Pistons, the rivalry versus Chicago Bulls. And you guys have to prepare yourself. Yes.
Actually, I was fortunate enough. I was hired and was in the last 2 years of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. So when I started, I still got to see them.
So take me through. Do you have the opportunity to ref versus Boston versus Lakers, that type of game? You had the opportunity to do that when you began
Yeah,
refereeing in the NBA?
you know, my first game they hired me. I had a Bulls game at Chicago Stadium, and I was nervous, of course. So the first quarter is against the Nets. I didn't blow my whistle the entire time. And at the end of the quarter, a train wreck block charge. It's Kenyon Martin and somebody else, you know, volatile players. And we got a train wreck. I'm standing right there. Still no whistle. Horn goes off. The crowd's coming down at both players. So I'm standing there laughing at myself, thinking, well, I've got to get better than this. And you know, I remember it like it was yesterday. It's quite a thrill. But to be able to go up to Larry Bird early on, getting the captains, and he says, "Hi, my name's Larry Bird." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I'm from Indiana." You know. So, a lot of great people involved. You know, I miss the people. I miss the competition. But the travel was very hard. You know, I was only home maybe 5-7 days a month back then.
So it's all about sacrifice when you're in the NBA life. People see that you're in TV, you know, refereeing the best players of the world, but you know, you're not spending time with your family. You're doing a lot of sacrifices. I believe that one season you was refereeing 66 games, and I would like to know, like, you had 933 games, you know, participating in the NBA. That's a lot of games, Ted. So I want to know how you prepare your body, your mind for the season, and how was the protocol? Like, you have a, you know, schedule, you know, how you guys prepare for the games, you know, big games. I want to know the difference of a regular season game and the playoff game too. So you could just speak on that.
Yeah, I don't know there's that much difference. Once you're a certain level, it's just a preparation. It's just like a player. You have certain superstitions. You know, I would do first ankle tape, second ankle the same. You know, I might do the same things just leading up to the game. But that in itself, I try to be ready every game, no matter what. And I think that's what probably Jordan and those before him taught us so well, was that if you're sick, if your personal life has problems or whatever's happening, you still got to be out there at 100%. Your consistency has to be up here. And so once I was able to do that, then I was able to elevate my game to the finals. But the games themselves were easy. You know, I knew that I wanted to go to Puerto Rico to work in the BSN. I knew how tough the league was back in the 80s and the 90s from the NBA referee greats and the coaches who had been there. So I'd heard all those stories in the minor leagues. So after I spent time in Puerto Rico, the NBA was a breeze.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Like, you was refereeing the NBA games, but in the mix, you was refereeing in the Puerto Rico Basketball League.
Right. Jack Neese and Eddie Middleton were still in Puerto Rico working. At that time, I can go through the list, but almost every finals referee of the past worked in Puerto Rico years prior. And so I went to Jack. I said, "Hey, look, if something comes open, I want to go there." And he says, "Well, Teen Reyes at the time was thinking about bringing somebody young down." So I just stayed after it. And finally, Teen and I spoke. And, of course, we became friends and love the man, you know, rest in peace. But he brought me down. Ricardo Carrillo, I think the world of. I love that. He's my brother, too. And then from there, it was Taratz, you know, Villanueva, Pucho, Rosendo, Avamboria, Garcia, Carrion. I go through the names, because all of them are my family in Puerto Rico.
I want to know the difference of refereeing FIBA-oriented basketball and an NBA-style type of basketball.
The games are becoming ever closer now. The difference used to be the three-point line, the drive and kick play, but now, the NBA game has changed too. So the rule differences, but the officiating aspect come NBA. Almost everything that's done has probably been from my prior boss was Daryl Garrettson. He's the one that saw me and hired me and made most of the changes in fundamentals of officiating that are used worldwide now. I was able to bridge that gap of the old greats, not only players, but referees, until, I finished with LeBron's early days. So quite the golden age of the NBA.
I agree. Those years that you was in the NBA refereeing, I believe that it was gold. Like I said earlier, you had the chance to, referees versus players that right now are in the Hall of Fame. Now, I would like to know that, you guys have a protocol.
The game is bigger.
Yeah. You were saying?
Go ahead.
It's big. Don't worry about it. The game is bigger.
The two games, the game's bigger and faster. But as a referee, you become accustomed to it. So they're more easier to referee. In Puerto Rico, man, you had some wars back in the day. There was some, you go to Ponce, and if they're selling canepas out in the parking lot, you're going to get hit that night, walking in.
So right now, okay.
I love it every minute.
One thing, talk about the NBA again. Okay, we're gonna get into the best and the finals there, but you had the shot and the opportunity in 2002 to referee in the NBA finals. But before we get into details, I would like to know, like, for a fan aspect or a coach or whatever you could say, like, usually the players and the coaches get a ring of the championship, right, of the finals. You got a ring also as a referee. Can you explain why a referee has a championship ring too, and how come, and how you were surprised?
They have a banquet. Yeah, they only pick 11 guys to work the finals, and usually it's the same guys. There for many years it was, and now there's a lot more changeover. It's the top 11 guys, so it's quite an honor. And with that, you get one ring, and that one ring is for your entire career. You might work 20 finals, you only get the same one ring. But anyway, I had it in Puerto Rico. It got stolen.
Oh my God, I didn't know that part. I know that one time we met. One time we met, and I had the shot. I got pictures around that. I was funny with the ring, but. It's sad that it's not there anymore. It's sad. That's like
we actually have video.
Not everybody has an NBA ring. That's unique.
That's why I wore it, was so that I could take it off my finger and let kids have it, Yeah. And so it's just a ring, but still, something can never take away. I'll get another one. Either I'll get that one back because I've got on video the lady walking in and stole it. So either I'll get it back or I'll get something. But you got to keep things in perspective, man.
So I would like to know, like, okay, Puerto Rico, what type of players that before the games you guys had to meet up and say, okay, this player, he always excel, or you guys had a game plan versus players or versus the team or coaches? How was the protocol here in Puerto Rico?
It's the same thing. Your pre-games, you're usually talking about positioning and teamwork types of things. maybe some few rules applications. But then you had Diego Melendez. I use him as always a great example because that's my brother, and he taught me so much, of how to really referee the floor, coaching, and Diego playing. My gosh. But once you learn how to handle those guys, I never had troubles with Meta World Peace or even Rodman. We got along. Things happened that game. It was competition, but he came running up to me at the end of the year on a play and another in the playoffs, I think, and I just stopped him. I said, "Whoa!" I said, "What? You want me to headbutt you now?" "Oh, okay, Ted." He'd take off, So from there on, I never had an issue with him at all. I get along with all the crazy guys, just like you.
I remember one day that you was refereeing a game of under 24, and I test you like, okay, yeah, give me the call, like I act like you was a rookie, and you made me like realize that you're in a different level than I just took a seat and took it like a man, but. I like that you command respect. No, but you command. Yeah, you command respect.
No, I had so much fun with you guys.
Yeah. But the thing is that back in the days that
no,
you was in the era. But right now, I would like to know. You said that all the guys that were very tough, like Rasheed Wallace, Gary Payton. You mentioned Dennis Rodman, but those type of players, people see them in the screen like always getting technical fouls. But the thing is that they know the playbooks, the rules of the refereeing, and it's tough.
Oh yeah.
Is it challenging having a player that is outspoken all the time and that is a star player in the NBA or in the BCN? Is it tough
Rasheed Wallace was really difficult. Rasheed Wallace was. Finally, Allen Iverson was difficult, but Allen Iverson came from the heart that just wanted to win. Oh, there was nothing else there. Just a killer want to win. Now Rasheed was bipolar and apparently a great locker room teammate, but on the court he never had any sense. So I saw this interview. Finally, I got to him. I saw this interview the night before I have Portland, and I see him with his wife and his kids, and so he comes running from the baseline about somebody else's play. He comes running. I said, stop. Matt goes, yeah. I said, I saw you last night on that clip, and you were outstanding, man. I just want to tell you that. He goes, really, Ted? Thanks a lot. Took off the other way. So sometimes you figure out how to handle these guys, I had a tough personal life.
It's not easy, but like you said earlier, that when you're refereeing, you focus on the game.
I thought I was healthy.
The game,
I came to Puerto Rico, and I just wanted
going with the flow.
To be peaceful, basically, and retire. Cecilio Say Crespo, Coach and Isabella, got come help me with the boys. So he got me going. Carlos Terraz was living in Camoy. He called me up, and he's one of my best friends for 30 years. Hey, Ted, come to the meeting. Just, I had no intention of being involved in basketball, and it just came. So you do what God has in store. You go with the flow there. But like I said, it's always been better for me than for anybody else.
So Ted, like right now, we have a lot of kids that wish they could referee in the level that you refereed, and that was a trend that was not normal back in the days. But it was you played, and that's it. Now people want to be coaches, want to be referees.
Right.
Was the process that you say, okay, to a youngster that's going to begin refereeing today, what it takes to become an NBA referee? What would you tell them?
Of all the good people that I've recommended, if I see a good student of the game and maybe a fiery point guard or somebody that's got a lot of passion for the game and very knowledgeable, those are the ones I try to steer myself into officiating. you know, and so you get a lot of other people who want to make just money. Some people love the game but never played, you know, and so you have and so you have different levels of officiating, just like you have different levels of players. And when I'm coaching, I try to tell my boys, okay, here's the referees here tonight. Here's what kind of game we're going to have. You know, play through it. You know, next play always. You know, but you try to give them an idea, and that's how I use my officiating to an advantage. But I don't. You don't see me on the sidelines. I have fun with referees, and I don't take advantage of it in any other way.
That's a great, tool that the kids have. You know the game. You know the games. You know the details that many coaches may not have. So you got that edge. Always, like you could
talk to share so much.
Yeah, you could talk to a referee and speak, the same language. Yeah.
It's amazing though how much people really don't want to know. You know, it's like, ask me a question, but beware of what the answer may be, because you may not like it. You know, I was labeled by my boss in the NBA as honest to a fault. You know, and I'm just going to stay that way. But you know, some people need criticism. You know, I need criticism at times. You have to be able to take it. But refereeing is a special breed, and we need more really quality people that know the game involved. It's good to have everyone involved because it's the camaraderie in our meetings. You know, we have the best party, and it's you look across the room, it's like my family at Thanksgiving. You look across the room, you say, that person's in my family? Well, I must love him then. Come here and give me a hug, right? Same thing with this referee group. It's everybody of everywhere. But yet everybody has their level that they can get to. You know, you can only be so good. You know, I mean, some people have. I was lucky. I was around the game all my life. I am a Bobby Knight, a purist form of the game, you know, but people don't really want to know those details. And referees very rarely will ask, hey, come watch me, tell me what I did wrong or what I can do to improve. It's amazing. I just sit around and do nothing. And I could be used by the BSN. But they don't use anybody that's not from there, that doesn't have power. But I don't care. That's not what I came to Puerto Rico for. I love my community. I love going to breakfast every day on the plaza, saying hi to people. So basketball's just been a plus.
And they could use you because you have the ability to, see the game and, give information that they need, right? So maybe in the future that could happen. But in the meantime, yeah, you're definitely a good asset. Definitely. And I believe that
people in charge down there that I mean, it's all a power game, down there, and money issues, and I'm, like I said, after Maria hit, then your assistant or whatever. I don't have that much, but man, that was a major storm, man, and we just need everybody to do a little bit if you can,
Definitely. So backpedaling, back into the game, how the coach's perspective, like, okay, you're a coach and you want to approach a referees, and I have to be honest, sometimes when you approach a referee, not everybody has the same style. Like you said, your style was just be, direct and to the point. There's some referees that don't like to explain or talk to coaches. So how's the best way you approach a referee without disrespecting a referee?
Depends. I mean, sometimes, I would get technical now and then if I needed one. but you know, I always wanted one when I got one. Um, I try to look at who they are personally, and I try to know their names personally. Um, I'm going to disagree with you, but I'm going to move on to the next play like I coach. I'm not going to stay on that play. Pat Riley, Spolstra, all these great coaches, they're on you at that moment. But just like they try to teach as a player, you can't focus on that. You got to go on to the next play. And that's basically what I do, I never hold on to it. And it's just a basketball game. Yeah, when it all comes down to it, there are real problems in the world. I'm not gonna take it out on this referee.
That's true. But when you're in the game, you can feel the pressure too about the players. We got the two coaches that Hall of Famers, and you can feel it, right?
Yeah, as you get older, you mellow. On that you become more knowledgeable. When I was a young coach, oh yeah, I was fiery. I was yelling at everything. And even when I first started coaching in Puerto Rico, probably more active than I was at the end. But as you get older, you know what's going to happen. You anticipate better. Yeah, I've seen that happen before. It's not the first time a bad call or whatever. I try to focus on the kids, man. Most of my kids are pretty good. We don't talk a lot during the game now. We go on to the next play. I want headstrong and next play mentality, and that's all I care about.
Oh, definitely. I believe that.
I like Miami. Yeah.
You like Miami right now?
I like what I'm seeing in the mentality.
You see the basketball culture?
It gives me hope in basketball again. It gives me hope in basketball again. That a team concept and moving the ball and guys playing for one another. I mean, Lakers got the best team by 20 easy and 30, and they look like they play disjointed. They look like they don't play together ever.
So,
to me, just individuals.
How you see the game? Obviously, the game is transcending. Each decade is not the same. You was in the era that, like you said earlier, LeBron was entering his prime. You saw Kobe in his prime. Rest in peace. You saw MJ in his prime. So right now, you think that the rules by changing, gives a different type of player the advantage that back in the days, or you believe that it's all about skills and everything's changing? What do you believe about that? Like the era?
I was there. I was there when the game was free flowing. Then it became very, very physical with the bad boys and such. And so, and that game, the physical game, started coming down into every area. Little kids' games, and all of a sudden, bam, hard foul. So I was there. We started changing the rules again to make the game flowing like it is now. So in my opinion, the biggest problem right now, we were just talking about it with my son-in-law. To have a Boston drafts a Larry Bird, and he stays with that franchise, or Dirk Nowitzki, or Luka Doncic now, or those are the franchises that are going to be successful because it's the fan base, man. That if switching teams every year for a championship, and getting guys together on a team, that loses fans. Instead of building a championship team, Damian Lillard, well, what a beast, I could go anywhere and play, but I want to stay in Portland. I respect that.
Yeah, it's very rare to see.
I'm old school,
Yeah, that's the type of mentality that you drafted from this team, you're gonna stay with this team, good and bad. Like you don't see that no more. It's true. It's a different breed. Those type of players, right? The environment, the culture is very different. Yeah, the culture is very different now. Like every day.
I think they're going to have to do something to bring the swing back because, the Luka Doncic, man, he's become a sensation. Not only is he a great player, but he's going to be in Dallas a long time, and that's what really builds the momentum in the cities, the fan base. But the NBA is growing worldwide still. You know, people say, "Oh, the States, the ratings." Guess what, man? China and India and Timbuktu, man, they're watching it. You know,
Yeah, it's
somewhere.
worldwide. It's definitely a global game. Right now, you had the shot and the opportunity to referees in different arenas. Like in Puerto Rico, what was the most difficult arena to referee?
Well, I was fond of the old Quebradillas bar, you know, Hernandez, all the old places, all the old hot, full courts. You know, they were great. You know,
And the
I was
NBA?
in Guayama, and they lost a double overtime playoff game, and they had referee tells me they got Fiesta Patronales going on, but you never stop when you lose. I said, no, we're stopping. You know, we stopped. We went to the team booth. By the night, I'm dancing with everybody in Guayama. You know,
Yeah, that's the trouble of life. That's the trouble of life.
back, I had friends. Yeah, but you learn, you know, in Puerto Rico, you're battling in Ponce and San German. You got a war. You got to fight to get to the locker room with fans and a police escort to get out of town. And then all of a sudden, everybody's in Calle having a hamburger and a cheeseburger and a beer and Coke on that one corner. You know, that's where I learned about players, you know, right there in Calle.
So in the NBA, what was the difficult, arena that you refereed?
The old arenas, before they changed the dynamics, Utah, you know, had fans who were just brutal, where you walked out into the locker rooms. The old Bull Stadium, you know, all the old ones were very unique. And then what happens, they build these new ones, it changes the whole character of the arena. And you don't hear those people in the corner. You don't, yeah, it just changes everything. So the uniqueness of the courts has changed a lot over the years, but I would say back in the day, Philadelphia always is tough crowd. New York, but, you know, I like that. You know, it didn't compare to Puerto Rico, you know, because there you have the owner sitting next to the team, right? And the owner's the biggest cheerleader. So you have to learn to deal with them. And Mark Cuban buys the team, and all the referees were having a difficult time with him. Oh, he's sitting by the team, and he's yelling. And like, guys, man, that's every day in Puerto Rico. You know, don't worry, I got this, you know. And Mark Cuban was an Indiana graduate, where Bobby Knight coached. He was an IU grad that wanted to watch basketball on the internet. So this streaming that we're using now, he invented. And that's how he became a billionaire, you know? So now he's standing by the team yelling. I know he's an IU graduate. I grow up at Purdue University, which is their biggest rivalry. So, Ted, partner this, just like always, right? I turn around, I go Purdue, like that. And he just started laughing, and, you know, we became good friends. And then we found out we played rugby against one another back in college, and it just goes on from there. So we have I've got his personal assistant's number. I never use it. I know he's done a lot for Puerto Rico and Mayagüez, but I think the NBA should do a lot more for Puerto Rico myself.
Definitely, Mark Cuban is a genius.
But Mark Cuban,
the way he operates is very unique. You don't see a lot of owners support the team the way he does. Like, usually the owners are in the background, like to be seen, but Mark is very, energetic, and that's very good for the game, I believe.
Sure has been. I think so too. Yeah. Had a lot of good experiences, bro.
Right now,
my worst experience was sub 24.
Sub 24? How come?
Your team, Yalco. Dalco and sub 24.
That was incredible. That was incredible, Ted. So before we touch that subject,
right now.
That's the first. Yeah, it's on the game technical. You're out of the game
right now.
Yeah, we take it. We take it.
Okay.
Why not? I would like to know your opinion. Okay, right now, this is like the cliche of the the barbershop talk. So we talk about the players, top ranks. I know you're a referee, but right now you're not active. So I believe you could speak a little bit about players. So everybody discuss LeBron, Jordan. Who's the best, who's the top dog. And a lot of people don't mention Kobe Bryant, like rest his soul right now. But like back in, before everything happened, I always, had Kobe in front of LeBron. Yeah. But I believe that everybody just, with the hype, the numbers maybe, but like yourself, you had the best seats of the house. You got the chance to see Kobe in the finals, in the regular season, LeBron when he entered the league. So who you believe, of those three, where you rank them?
I'll go MJ, Kobe. I'll go MJ 1, Kobe 2. Yeah. Other players 3, 4, 5. I mean, LeBron's amazing, but these people have never seen anybody else. They were born and this guy was playing.
Yes.
He's been 17 years in the league. That's all they ever know. So if he had the same mentality as MJ or these other great players we had in the league, he would have won a championship every year and just by himself. If he would have got better every year like MJ and these other players try to get better, it's just like the game bored him. He was so good and so uniquely skilled, so big and fast that he never really seemed to have to improve a whole lot.
So when you referee those type of yeah, definitely. But when you referee those type of players that are once in a generation type of players, like how the guys approach you, like they have the different IQ. But people see that they score 30, they do 20 assists, but the level of IQ, the way they see the game, the way they talk to the referees, like can you have any stories about those players, like the way that they tell you, okay, you missed this call, I believe, or the way they talk to you guys, because sometimes we don't get to hear that. Well, you're there in the front seat, like you can see that, you can hear everything. Like, any stories about that?
I tell these guys now, they everybody's mic'd at the finals right now. Everybody has a microphone. I was, and they don't know how to use those microphones. I was in a conversation once with Karl Malone, and it was a younger forward in the playoffs, and it was right at the timeout, and Karl Malone's getting ready to inbounds the ball, and I had this microphone right there. And I was trying to warn him about something play before, and he goes, "Hey, look, no, you don't understand. I'm just trying to get where this guy is. He was admiring the guy he was guarding, Karl Malone. He was speaking up to him. And I'm standing right there in the middle of it. I'm like, how can you miss that conversation? And things like that. But there's just so many conversations. They learn to trust you. I was LeBron's one of his favorite referees because Paul Silas, his first coach, and I, the tough guys and I always get along, for some reason. I threaten to fight him after a game or something. I make him laugh, So Paul Silas loved me, and LeBron really liked me. So, he was never a problem. But most great players, they know when they speak, a lot of times they're right. Put it that way. You learn to trust players more so than not. The natural reactions, even if you have a natural reaction to a play I call, and I can tell it's that natural reaction, then maybe I won't be so hard, as something that the whole arena sees as an obvious play. Those are different things. But the great players know the game. They know they can sense when you have confidence. And, once Allen Iverson trusted me, it was just game on, man. We were both going. He knows I'm competing. I would get mad. I'm telling him I missed that call. I missed that call, And so, that game language comes out. But, I mean, that's what it is. You're honest out there. in the heat of the battle. They don't have to say anything. I already said it.
Yeah, it's all about decision making, and it's not that easy. Like you guys make it seem easy. We're all humans. We all make mistakes. So sometimes, like when you guys make a mistake, or a coach or a player, like everything gets so magnified because you're in the public eye. But it's not that difficult. It's not that difficult to recognize that. Yeah, you have to respect them. That's it.
Even if you're coaching now, if you see a referee that's hustling up and down the play, he's running with the game. He's not walking. He's running with the game. He's trying to be in position. He's trying to know the rules. He's trying to whatever. Then you're going to work with him. I'm going to have a hard time with guys walking, and he's done 5 games that day. God bless him. He needs the money. But you're not going to get a good basketball game in the 5th game. He's not there to improve his craft as a referee. He's not there for the long game. He's there to make 5 checks. So that's what we face sometimes. I can't blame him, because if the game only pays $20 and you make $100 that day, your family needs it. I know that. So that's what I'm always going to give them a break nowadays. I know how hard it is, and I try to teach my players that we're going to go on to the next play. We're going to tell them if we know their name, we're going to disagree with them, and then we're going to go on to the next play. No, hey, Ted, I think you missed that play. Yeah.
That's good. That's good to know that the communication, the respect level always has to be in the high level. Right now, if you want to compare Puerto Rico style play, in the little leagues until the professional, how you compare the culture in Puerto Rico and the States, basketball-wise, talent-wise, coaching, referee-wise?
We could have. The biggest problem is facilities, number one. The lack of facilities right now is just horrendous in Puerto Rico. And then instead of organizing an island that's 100 by 35 or whatever, organizing some system to develop our youth, we have 3 leagues, 4 leagues, and the NBA starts a junior NBA league. The kids aren't practicing but 1-2 days a week if they practice, and then they have 4 games on the weekend. It's absolutely the wrong mentality, and we're doing a disservice. We're doing our children wrong in Puerto Rico. We're just playing games.
So what should we recommend? What you recommend?
Well, I've told Eddie. I've told Omar. I've asked all these guys, hey, man, just organize this stuff where, we're practicing a week at least. I mean, Indiana, I did 6 days a week with kids in elementary school and junior high. And Saturday would be optional, but they all came.
Say again. You say that you practice 6 days?
Well, yeah, Saturday would be optional, but
That's incredible. That's incredible. That's unheard of.
Yeah.
And some leagues.
That was way back. So, yeah, that's how we do it here. And the kids shoot before and after practice if they really want to get better. But I'm so frustrated in Puerto Rico with the way school ball, buzzer beater, man, they blow everybody up and make it sound like there's something else. And you take a team to Orlando, and as soon as they meet up with somebody that's anybody, they get blown out. It's just like, we got good kids, man. Up to age 14, we're as good as anybody in the world. Coaching, players, potential-wise, but from 14, 18, we lose them.
So
that's because we're still playing kids' games.
So let me get this straight. The recommendation,
I would have
eliminate the games and practice more, more like a sequential, practice rhythm. Have a structured practice. Pre-season, season, off-season type of way.
You guys do a great job. You do a great job in Jalco, and but like I always say, why have all these coaches come and spend money that they don't have for certification? I mean, just teach you and Jalco teach Cecile and Isabella, whoever, Googie, teach Quebradillas, Juan, whoever. Have that one master teacher, and he teaches the other coaches to do the same thing. But we're just, everything's about making a few extra dollars. Coaches are making a few $100s a month, which to them is important, I understand. But in the overall scheme of basketball development, we're put on. And yeah, if just we have one central area, we have we can have all those leagues. You can have all McDonald's leagues, but then you take the serious boys and girls, and you have 1 year plan with school, with training, with their practice, with their games, and those serious kids play in a different league. Those kids are there to keep progressing. The other kids play in the fun games. That's why I told Eddie and them is that you can't take it away because people own those leagues. The McDonald's leagues makes money. All those leagues are making. So guess what? Start the own federation league that's only serious kids, but have the whole year planned out for them. They know that year what they're going to be doing, including their school team. It's just, there's no training. And if it is, it's in pockets. And then it's not enough time. And you see Europeans getting better and better and better.
Yeah, we should develop a structure that, requires that. I like that idea that you presented, like divide the ones that you believe that have potential to play, in a different level. And, keep an eye on those kids and make them work. But sometimes they could play versus a lower level, and not to discriminate, but it's the honest truth. Like, you're going to be bored, like LeBron, like you're going to score 20 every day. But when you face the hard competition, getting trained that way, you're going to just, stay the same level.
Man, I mean,
yeah.
Butch Lee, man. Look at Butch Lee training and his son. Was he somebody do it the right way? No facilities, and yet his son's out there doing it. I have two boys in Vermont now. One just graduated, and they were Indiana kids. 3 brothers at the same school in college together. They all were on the floor playing at the same time, actually, last year. We saw them play against Louisville last year. Great small Division I program is Vermont. Great program. Fundamentals, man. Boom. So these guys were just basketball nuts, man. And I know what it takes. And when I came down there, it was just mediocrity. Let's just be medium. Or you're the best in this league, you're really good or something, the buzzer beater stuff. I've never seen so many great players and coaches in my life as on buzzer beater. Their ads or their social media things. Everybody's a star. Yeah. I have hope. Like I said, I have hope.
We could, right now we're not playing, we're not training per se. So right now we could, try to develop a program that is, beneficial for the whole players, the whole coaches, and the refereeing squad. So we could have a better system. Hopefully here in 10 years, we could see a better program in our national teams. And I know that Eddie is working hard in the national programs, and he's doing a very good job with Omar.
I believe in those guys,
Yeah, so hopefully, the little leagues that we trying to do our best in the school, so try to develop that programs. I believe that, I always say that in Puerto Rico, I would love to see a high school event, let's say a high school tournament, but like a tournament per se, like have a whole season. And make it like, the whole island, and then the championship, you could just, play versus South versus the North. Something like that, less games, more training, and you have the stats, you could record the games. And I think that could help a lot.
I've been saying the same thing.
Yeah, but it's not that easy.
Home games.
Yeah, home games.
And
you have, the culture. Just like in Indiana. Can you speak about Indiana basketball in the high school level? I know that Indiana basketball in the high school level is like a religion. Like, barbershops are closed.
My high school is one of the top 10 in the nation in size, and it held 7,500. and it was full every night.
Say
7,500.
Say again. 7,500. Big number.
Yeah, high school.
High school game.
And then, yeah, we're not even the biggest in our conference. Newcastle, where Steve Alford is from, is a 10,000 people's high school arena. You know, I mean, it's just what it is here, and you know, you learn that the fundamentals of the game, the fundamentals are what really carry you in whether it be as a player, as a referee, or as a coach. And it's the same with any job. I mean, it's what you learn at the foundation of it that's going to carry you through at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good information, Ted. Thank you for, passing by the podcast. But before we leave, any message for the youth that are watching us right now or hearing us in the podcast?
You know, the main thing I took from the MJ series on TV that everybody watched, The Last Dance, was the mentality. And I would teach young guys that to become an adult is learning to be able to focus and concentrate on things that are important to you for a longer period of time. So it's all about developing that knowledge of the game, the mentality for it, and how long and how well you can focus on it. It's going to set you apart.
Ted, thank you for the time. I know that you have a busy schedule. It's an honor that you're in the La Esta Cancha podcast. Hope to see you soon. And, I wish you the best in life. Wish you the best with your family.
I'll be back Saturday, bro.
Yeah, hopefully we can meet up. Yeah, hopefully we can link up. Yeah, we can link up and, do some things, some clinics or, something with Mario Border. You never know, right? We could do something.
Anytime, man. Much love.
Nice. Much love. Take care.
All right, bro. All right.
Thank you. So that's all for today. Gracias por estar con nosotros en la Bola en tu Cancha podcast. Ahí hablamos con Ted Bernhardt, árbitro por 17 años en la NBA. Nos contó varias anécdotas, la manera de arbitraje, comparación de BCN y NBA. Y gracias por sintonizar. Dios los bendiga, cuídense mucho. Hasta luego.